media influencers. These never existed 10, 15 years ago, but in present day, they constitute a major chunk of the marketing budget. I go on to sustainability. An organization, much like a living human being, is constantly changing, but it's constantly adapting to it. Sustainability will touch on key decisions that
customer self-service waste. I know a lot of times if I go to a restaurant, I go to a hotel, I would want to serve myself. And well, maybe the Nigerian, I wouldn't say the Nigerian way, right? But sometimes as customers, we tend to overtake what we cannot finish. So you go, oh, this is a buffet, you're paying 20K. For the whole day, say, oh really? I want takeoff, I want hamburger, I want this, and then everything on your plate. And then you end up eating just one spoon. That is another waste, and that is waste on the part of also the restaurant. And they say, oh, they've already paid now, so what's the point? That is also another waste because those ingredients that would have been used to prepare another thing is wasted. But you can even serve more customers and make more money that will be in your pocket, but it is not going into the trash, okay? And the last one is the trash and the waste bin. Sometimes we talk about sorting. I know a lot of restaurants that have the whole, this is recycle, this is food waste, but people don't follow it. They don't follow the color codes on their waste bin. They end up putting what the food waste that can be recycled with the plastic waste all in one trash can. And then what happens in that case? It goes down to the landfill, which is also money. In fact, not just food waste, money taking step in a very nice way, catwalking into the landfill, which is profits going out. Or you don't have a plan for donation or recovery. Now, there are many charity organizations that restaurants can partner with when you have excess food. You can partner with the Lagos Food Bank and also other charity organizations that you can say, okay, we have this whole a pattern of excessive food and people can come and take some of this food. I mean, why can't we feed the nation? Are we not one? Anyway, moving on. Now, what is the role? Am I communicating? How about not too fast? I want to enjoy this discussion here. Very good, thank you. Now, what is the role of food safety failure? Poor food handling practices and quality control in food loss and waste. Food safety failure, improper storage. If you don't store your food properly, you will end up having older products or you will not follow FIFA, right? She has mentioned it, she has given me explanation of what FIFA and FIFA is. I won't deep dive into that. But if you don't store your food properly, you end up having food waste. Most times when I audit restaurants, right, it's very simple for them to have a failure in non-conformity in this aspect because they will just tend to go clean the product on the shelf and nobody's really checking for dates. Another thing that can cause this problem is when you have all of your products on the shelf. Why? Or you buy a lot of this product and you end up not even using it. Especially those ones with a short best before or a short shelf life. Temperature abuse. That's another food safety failure and cross-contamination too. Now when it comes to poor food handling practices, again, you can never take away FIFO from this. It's handling during preparation. If you don't handle your food properly, they go to the floor, that's waste already. Except of course in your restaurants, when food drops on the floor, you pick it, you clean it, and you serve the customer. And I'm sure that I don't have any restaurant managers that are doing that poor quality practices. The lack of hygiene. She has talked about washing your hands, your earrings, all of those things. It's very important as managers or as food business staff, we need to have proper hygiene. If you lack good hygiene, it's as well as putting money into the waste bin. And lastly, quality control. Overcooking, undercooking, inconsistent portioning, getting food for minor defects. I don't know if this is news to many of us, right? But sometimes people reject product because they look ugly. No, ugly, not for food safety cases, or not for the sake of food safety, but because I don't just like how this tomato is looking. It's not looking very fine. So they end up throwing it away. But you need to understand that nobody knows whether a tomato is fine or ugly when it is being cooked. So you need to have a very good relationship practices, remember, food safety failure can make you bleed money. Poor food handling practices will make you lose money. Poor quality control, you are losing money, and that is money, and that is profit that should have been generated back into more money. Now, what are the best practices, tools, and techniques in combating this hidden cost that is draining into your profit, which is food waste? Number one, for your purchasing managers and storekeepers, let them check orders for quality when receiving. Have a checklist. If it's not documented, it means it is not done. So if there's no checklist and you are not coming to because is food, there's a tendency that there will be a mistake. And once it gets into your kitchen, it may get rejected. Ensure FIFA when storing. Donate under use item, but always track. If you know that you're always having excessive products, you need to keep a track and say, okay, why am I having this product? Is it that it's not moving? People don't like it. So that you don't end up buying a lot of things that you're giving out, because really for restaurants, you are not buying to give out for free. You are buying to make money, to put back into your business. So we have a lot of product that's every day or every month getting here out, you're donating it excessively. They need to have a track record and say, do I need to take this off completely or do I need to reduce it? Again, train your staff. Now for chefs and stewards, smart menu planning. You need to plan your menu with ingredients that can make too many food products. So if you're having, say lentils for instance, how many food products or how many menus can lentils do? Start thinking in that way. Start menu planning. Don't just plan I have 55 menus. Oh, you cook all of them in one day. At the end of the day, just 5 food. What happens to the rest of them? It is waste. That's money that should have been used for any other thing that's going to waste. Okay? Portion control and just portion control. I know as Nigerians, many of us we don't like it. But then again, for food business owner, if you do not manage your portion control, you end up having a lot of food waste. Your calibration, your skills, are you calibrating them? So you're calibrating your skills. Why are you calibrating the dry weights? So it's not a function of every morning you carry 5 kg, you put your seed, good. 10 kg, you put on the scale, it's good. Those dry weights, are you calibrating them? Do you have external parties that come to calibrate those skills to show that you're ensuring the right portion? What about using data to track your demand? Again, forecasting, demand forecasting. The product or the number of products you would have each Ramadan period. You agree with me that it is different from the one you start experiencing from next week, truffles. I did an answer with truffles. Exactly. People are fasting this period, right? So the likelihood that there will be a lot of people in the restaurants might not be as much as when people are not fasting. So consider all of those things when you're planning your menu. Then of course, digital waste tracking. There are a lot of AI tools that can help in tracking your waste. We have Uno and a lot of others. And then I think Nigerians will take away options and those are take away options. What about for your buffet host and event coordinators? So that everybody is involved, from the purchasing manager to chefs and stewards, even to event coordinators. Know the amount of guests that you are inviting to an event and plan accordingly. Have a food waste policy. This is new. I know for manufacturing companies, because those who are the FSS version space, it is not new to them. But for restaurants, having a waste policy might be new, and to be a good initiative so that your customers know that you are trying to make money and to also save the environment. So to be a good thing to have a food waste policy or initiative, partner with food banks and again train. But the important thing is train. Do not get tired of training. If you get tired of training, call experts that can help you train your people. Please again, I'm saying train your people. And FHSC will also carry out training. Just let me put it out there. Now, what is an action plan? I have mentioned what food loss and waste is. I have mentioned where food waste can be gotten, can be from the preface or the post phase, right? Before the customer or after the customer. What do you need to do? Start with a food waste audit. We all know that we prevention. So we talked about where the waste can happen. Now, I do not know your individual kitchens, so I cannot tell you where your hotspots are. That is the work of everyone here. After this conference, remember that the lady with the glasses said, know where my hotspots are. Go to your kitchen. Managers tie into their KPIs. Let everybody identify where the hotspots are. And then there's a strategy of methodology that we talk about. It's called TNA. You target, you measure, and you act. But I'd like to expand it a bit. You target, you measure, you use, and you act when you communicate. It's very simple. Have a smart goal. Tell everybody, or you tell yourself, okay, in the next 6 months, I want us to reduce our food waste by 30% in maybe portioning. And because if there is no goal, you'll be too relaxed to want to try. So goals keep you on the edge. Like, okay, I have a goal. What do I need to do? So that is what targeting does. Then you measure, you track. Where my waste coming from? Is it from the preface system or from the post face? You need to know, you need to measure. When you measure, you know whether or not you're reducing or you're not reducing the waste. And then you act. After knowing your hotspots, after measuring, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to cut down? Do I need to do a smart menu planning? What are the things I need to do? And then you communicate with people. You cannot have all of this and keep it to yourself. You cannot drive train and keep it to yourself. So you must communicate with everyone, and I mean everyone in each department. Let them know that, look, this is serious business, so and we all have a part to play in food waste reduction because we're talking about money here. And lastly, also, so another methodology we can use in reducing food loss and waste is the 4 R's. We have the reduce, the reuse, the recycle, and the recover. We cannot say we are fighting food loss and waste. We cannot fight food loss and waste because it's a whole lot. But we can prevent food loss and waste from happening. So that's where the reduce part comes into place. And then you reuse this product. Don't be in the habit of throwing things. Look for ways that you can use food products. Throwing should be your last option. Then you recycle and then you recover. I have a friend who does this technology, right? I don't know how he does it, but he's so smart. And he does Souq for businesses. I really don't know how it works, but this Souq uses food waste and it generates gas for cooking. So you end up not spending so much money on gas, and you end up spending less money for waste disposal. Now, like, are you sure this works? But I've known him for quite a while now, and I know restaurants that have been using it for 2 years, 3 years, and that's one way of them helping the environment and also saving money. But so that you can actually, food loss and waste is avoidable. It is avoidable. You just have to do the right thing and put your mind to it. Okay? Of deliciousness. We've been in existence since 1909. Did you know that? So for those who don't know, some people just screamed, eh? We are an ancestor brand. Thank you very much. You see, this is what we know how to do the best. Bring deliciousness to homes, to your meal time. And this was the initiative of 2 Japanese persons. One is a scientist who discovered that glutamate was the ideal substance to make meals. And then the other one, an entrepreneur who has the money to start the business. So you see, idea, meeting, capital, and then a business is born. So this is how our Ajinomoto came to be. By the way, it's a Japanese brand, and Japan products are quality products. I re-emphasize, quality products. So we've been in Nigeria since 1991. innovation to contribute to well-being of the human being, well-being of the society, well-being of the planet through amino science. Amino science is the technology and the specialty of the Ajinomoto Group. The NAFDAC people here know us, we are registered. The SON people here know us, we have a man cap. So we are very regulated and very compliant. So what is Ajinomoto? My targets are here, the caterers are here, LSCDA, and my other catering group. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. So these are my targets. And I know restaurant people are here who use it. The people used to say that all those big restaurants, they use Ajinomoto, but they hide it. So I want to ask, what do you gain if you don't use Ajinomoto cook? And what do you gain if you don't use that cook? You still they hide them. Tell people the source of your deliciousness, because you understand that it is safe. It is made from sugar cane. It helps you to reduce salt in your food. People call it magionio, thinking because there may be salt. Not salt. It is a product that has glutamate, and glutamate is an essential amino acid which gives the taste of umami. Umami is not sweet, not bitter, not sour, not salty, but delicious. That is the fifth taste, in case you don't know. We don't have only 4 taste sensations now, we have 5. The taste of tomatoes is not sweet, not sour, not salty. Every speaker has talked about tomatoes now. It is to make almost every meal. And so it is not sweet, not bitter, not sour, not salty, but it gives that umami taste. That's the 5th taste around the world, and it's not different to Nigeria. And that's the taste of our Ajinomoto. Ajinomoto is produced through a fermentation process of sugar-based sugarcane, beets, cassava, maize. So all of these are products through which Ajinomoto is made. And then it is made up of, our MSG is made up of simply sodium, glutamate, and water. This is it. And it contains 1/3 of the amount of sodium in table salt. So if you think your food is not delicious enough, you're just adding salt, you're adding to your hypertension. Yes, so why don't you use Ajinomoto? And it helps you to promote that deliciousness that you want in your meal. That's what we are talking about. So it is used around the world to bring out deliciousness. You are what you eat. All of us agree to that, right? It's consume that forms you. Some food experts will tell us to avoid this fast food, pastries, cakes. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat. Reason. They tell you some of you it gives cholesterol. They just call a lot of hard names that will scare you. But once in a while, even in the pyramid of food, all these things are there. You take them, but maybe sparingly. And not that you don't take at all. So you are what you eat. And when we eat food, we don't eat to swallow those chunks. What we eat is to get nutrients from the food. Bringing one of that. So look out for it in the market. It is very beautiful for jollof spaghetti. One pack is 25 grams, and then you use it for 500 gram spaghetti. Just add 30 cl of water, and then mix it to get the sauce, and voila, deliciousness is all the way. And we love to get questions, we love to have feedbacks. Like the MC have said, a pack like this is going to be given to everyone here, and we hope that you will use it and continue to enjoy deliciousness.
Of this program, and Grassy Global Foundation, led by Engineer Greg Ashiwoku, we are presenting this award to the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Christiana Adeyemi. And she was one of those ones that bring premium importance of production, the quality aspect of it. And I'm happy that I happened to be one of the first production supervisors that we became an athlete manager and we never stopped. So, on behalf of the organizer of the maiden edition of Restaurant Managers Conference, we are presenting this award of honor to Mrs. Bosse Ayemi in recognition of her contribution to the growth and development of Nigerian restaurant managers. We are doing that one today, and we are happy that she's here and happy to be here to receive this award. Restaurants, cafes, bars, and pub association. You can see, I think from what we have had today, you can see that we are blessed to have her. And ever since she has been taking me up and down, this and that, we are having a cocktail meeting. Can you come? We are having this one, can you come? Forgetting the fact that I stay in Korodou, they want me to be in Landmark. But I have to squeeze my time to get there. So she has been very supportive. Renegade Taylor, the chairperson and president of RCBC Association, appreciation of your visionary leadership, selfless dedication, tireless effort, and understanding.
Trafalgar Square, established in 1844, is a symbol of British naval history and a popular cultural spot in London. Named after the 1805 Battle of Trafalgar, it has been the site of celebrations, protests, and cultural events, representing the changing identity of the city. It houses several landmarks, like the Nelson Column, St. Martin in the Fields Church, and the National Gallery. The Nelson's Column, a tribute to a naval hero, is the main feature of Trafalgar Square. Standing 52 meters tall, completed in 1843, it honors Admiral Horatio Nelson's victory at Trafalgar. The column is topped with a statue of Nelson, and 4 bronze panels at its base show scenes from his battles. Surrounding it are 4 large bronze lions added in 1867, symbolizing British power.
Iconic part of British culture, not just in its look, but this is very much the sort of centre of London. You know, whenever there's a celebration, a protest, it's a public space that's very important for a lot of not just people that live in London, but for the UK. You know, it's a place where people would congregate. You know, I remember being here all around the 2012 Olympics. We were very much one of the centerpieces of British iconic culture. Yeah, no, you used to be able to climb on the lions when I was younger, but you can't do it anymore. So there you go. That's progress for you.
St. Martin's in the Fields Church, reputed as an architectural gem, was built between 1722 and 1726. It is known for its neoclassical design by architect James Gibbs, and is famous for its portico and steeple, and has influenced architecture worldwide. The church also a rich musical history, hosting concerts and helping the homeless.
Yeah, I actually came to London just on a little day trip, and then I remembered that this church sometimes has classical music on, so I just popped in, and there's no concert, but there were some people practicing. So there's a quartet of violins, and they made some lovely, sort of practice for some classical concert, so I really enjoyed just sitting there for 10 minutes listening to it. It's lovely, it's a really nice church, and it's nice that people don't do music much time. So. They used to have a nice cafe as well. It's a good church.
The National Gallery, founded in 1824, is a treasure trove of art. Located on the north side of Trafalgar Square, it houses over 2,300 artworks from the 13th to 20th century with free public access to masterpieces from major European artists.
I'm not really sure. I haven't been through the museum yet, but I'm here for a Christian heritage tour to kind of learn more about the history of the Protestant Reformation in England and Christian history here in England through the paintings that are in the gallery. So that's what I'm here for today.
Trafalgar Square blends Britain's naval history with modern art and culture. It remains an important public space, attracting millions of visitors each year to experience London's rich heritage and vibrant atmosphere. Chike Okolo, reporting for Souq News.
The much-anticipated Super Leader Conference kicked off with energy and enthusiasm in Lagos as the host, Apostle Success Haruna, delivered a transformative opening presentation. The conference, themed Leader Shift, brought together renowned speakers to redefine leadership and influence. The first speaker set the tone, emphasizing the essence of a super leader, one who communicates effectively, provides resources, recognizes both the strengths and weaknesses of others, and supports them rather than feeling insecure. He also highlighted team building as a critical component of leadership.
One of the factors is because our marriage is a beautiful marriage for 17 years. So we have been able to model what a good marriage is to the people. Speaking, I have up to 16 people, 14 to 16 people living in my house. It has been so from the day one of our marriage. They've never heard our voice. 17 years together as husband and wife. They've never seen us scream at each other. They've never seen us fight. They've never seen us argue, and they're hearing our voices outside. In 17 years of marriage, with the number, we have never had less than 10 people live with us from the day one of our marriage until this present moment. So what you model as a leader is easily communicated to your subject. That's where
The second speaker, Emeka Anslim, stressed that leadership is not about appointment or selection, but about direction. He illustrated this with an analogy.
You've created freedom to learn other things. Seeing that he's going to learn again while others teach. But when he comes back on top again. Right? Transfer yourself in people so they can take up tasks for you. When you raise leaders, you gain far more people than you can ever imagine in this world. Raise leaders, transfer your values, your nature, your culture into people. This is so important. This is so important. One of the ways by which we become an effective leader. Productive. Produce people after your kind. That's what God even commanded. Produce people after what? Produce after what?
According to him, effective leadership attracts followership by sustaining the interest of those who believe in and depend on a leader's vision. He emphasized vision, uniqueness, innovation, and creativity as core pillars of leadership. Adding a touch of humor and engagement, the third speaker, Ambassador Victor Walsh Oluwafemi, led participants in a brief exercise before moving into his presentation. He focused on leadership as influence, referencing key individuals who have impacted lives in diverse ways. He reminded participants that learning and education comes at a cost, making the convener's fee gesture invaluable.
And I grabbed that message as leadership is influence. Yeah. You can influence people either positively or negatively. And the question I ask people that what has been your influence? What have you been able to do in people's life? Are you able to influence them positively or negatively? Many of us do this a lot. The role of social media. That even as a leader, you need to be conscious of how you portray yourself on social media, right? That's why I went on that handsome man, uncomfortable. again. You know, social media has revolutionized leadership influence. However, it must be managed wisely. So we see some crazy set of very young boys, sorry for my language, and some will just come and say, I'm the coach.
Of influence. He also advised leaders to be strategic, particularly in the use of social media, emphasizing the importance of knowing when to.
The conference was amazing. Leadership was the real deal. You know, it was content rich. All the speakers were very impactful. The points were, very, very valid and practicable. So it was a very big one for me. I'm so grateful that I'm here today. This is the best use of my time today.
To realize that to be a leader, a true leader, you have to show your followers what you want them to do. You share your vision with them and also do the work. Let them see what you're doing. They'll be able to replicate.
Basically, for me, is emotional intelligence in influence, in influencing people. So it's so profound for me, and I'm taking that back into my space.
The third speaker, he got to identify some types of leaders, and one of them was a transformational leader. That was really awesome. Like, I'd like to be a transformational leader, one that leads and then leave a mark when I'm gone. Yes.
And reassess. The conference wrapped up.
African languages can be the means of attaining true independence and decolonization. In fact, language is the vehicle with which culture is rightly or wrongly expressed. Culture is deeply implanted in the language of a people, but the slave trade has tarnished and demeaned the essence of our culture, language, arts, and values. African languages are catalysts for the consolidation of the African cultural heritage. Developing the various cultural heritage associated with these languages that are currently scattered around Africa is important. Less than 20% of African languages have written forms, thereby making their learning practically impossible. To redirect African languages from disuse and extinction, more enlightenment campaigns should be vigorously pursued by the various governments of Africa on the potentials and benefits of various cultural heritages in various indigenous languages. It is compulsory to promote teaching and learning of indigenous languages and replacement of foreign languages that currently serve as official languages. People gain the ability and authority to make informed decisions and implement change in their own lives and the lives of other people. It is a means of encouraging youth to do great things for themselves and also to make great impact on the people. The empowerment of youth in the 21st century in Africa ensures a lot of good for the continent in curbing poverty eradication. This is because youth empowerment can curb the rate of poverty to a large level. When a youth is equipped with essential skills, he or she can utilize them to feed or assist others and even invest for future use, aiding the nation economically. The creative industry economy or the cultural industries could be used to empower African youths in this century where everything had gone digital. These industries have a big role to play in the development of African youths of this generation. The empowerment of youths in Africa can therefore be achieved through training, loans and grants, equipment and productive environment, and tapping into culture and creative arts as tools. The new media can also be used to increase the popularity of Africa's creative economy. Social media has become a space of cross-pollinating cultural knowledge that sustained Africa in the past, hence providing a versatile space that has placed the contemporary African art forms at the center of transformative possibilities. Content creators should reproduce traditional cultural songs to reimagine alternative Africa different from the one shaped by colonial history and patriarchy. TikTok, for instance, has become a space mediating the visibility of marginalized voices within reproduced literary pieces. We must also not lose sight of the African Union Agenda 2063, which envisions an Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, values and ethics, as well as integrated continent, but politically united, based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's Renaissance. To put it best, true independence devoid of reliance on powers that are external to this continent is one of the many visions of the African Union. Literature, precisely, drama as a genre, can assist the realization of these visions. African nations should be encouraged to make concrete pronouncements on the need to use the various indigenous languages for official purpose. In addition, governments at the various levels in Africa should set aside funds that can be used for research purposes by educational and cultural institutions within the African continent. With this research, more of this cultural heritage will be developed. We should also shift attention to exploring the possibilities of utilizing creative and cultural industries as tools of African youth's empowerment in the 21st century. The choice of the youth is premised on the statistical fact that the youth form the bulk of Africa's active population, who disturbingly are largely unemployed and could be misdirected to participate in violent conflict. The youth can be aggregated as a period of human development which occurs between childhood and adulthood. Adopting the creative industry as empowerment, the onus is for policy implementation experts, non-governmental organizations, governmental agencies and regional and continental bodies to reference academic resources to policies that will frog-lift African cultural endowments to global reckoning. For a revival, and for the Africa we want on Agenda 2063 to be realized, relevant mental conditioning, taking responsibility of actions, the development of brilliant insights, and anchoring a psychology of winning are essential. Chike Okolo, reporting for Souq News.
Well, thank you very much indeed. My name is Stephen Kola Balogun. I happen to be a lawyer and should I call myself a pseudo-politician? Not quite a politician, but I've served in government before. And I'm delighted to be here. Well, thank you very much. Well, yes, is it my family or the wider family? I mean, like I said, I'm the son of Chief Dr. Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. Like I said, he was a former politician, a frontline politician. He was the General Secretary of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, later National Council of Nigerian Citizens. He was the General Secretary of that party for about 8 years. From there, he was appointed by Souq to become a federal minister. He was initially a federal minister without portfolio. Consequently, after that, he became acting minister for labor, social services, and then he became Nigeria's first federal minister for information in 1956. He held that portfolio to 1958. Thereafter, he resigned from government. He had disagreement with the party. And Tafawa Balewa felt that he was a useful politician that could be sent to Ghana. And he went to Ghana to find out what was. Ghana was a bit ahead of us in terms of politics at the time. And I think it's fair to say they got independence just before us. And Tafawa Balewa wanted someone to understudy, to find out what we're doing. So he sent Kola Balogun there. Initially, he was commissioner. And later, when we gained independence in 1960, he became High Commissioner. Shortly after that, when we became independent, he yearned to come home. He wanted to take part in the new political atmosphere at the time. He asked the Prime Minister to relieve him, to let him come back, and he did come back home. And immediately he took up the position of being chairman of the National Shipping Line. That was a position he held on to until the military struck in 1966. But even then, when the military did strike in 1966, he still continued. I think General Debayo of blessed memory invited him to join his cabinet, and he served as a commissioner for about 3 years or more. I think he was commissioner for health and was commissioner for education. Later, he also became chairman of the sketch group of companies as well. And that was about it. I think after his stint in government, he decided to go and do a PhD at the University of Ibadan. And then he went back into private legal practice. And then he started this agitation for the creation of Osun State. He and a few others set up the movement. He was the chairman of the movement. And then to the glory of God, in 1991, Osun State was created. And that's it.
Tell us about mommy.
Well, yes, my mother. Well, in those days, the women were not so much in the forefront, But my mother has been my bedrock. She stood by me, and she has backed me in most of the things I've set out to do, And she's still alive. She's 89 this year, and she's still doing well, and she's still
and your wife
going
and
strong.
The kids?
Yes, my children. Yes, I have 3 girls, 3 daughters. My oldest is 31. She studied at King's College London. She did reasonably well. She got a 2nd class offer. Proud of her. She's an art curator today. And I have twin girls as well who are also in university now, that they haven't graduated yet. One of them is in Oxford University. She's studying history and politics. And the other is in Cambridge University. She's studying human, social, and political sciences. So, yeah. I did. I mean, my father, Chief Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. Yes, he was in the 1st cabinet in the 1st Republic, the 1st ever cabinet Nigeria had, and he served as the Federal Minister of Information and Research. As a matter of fact, he happened to be Nigeria's 1st information minister. Later, T.O.S. Benson, of course, became the independent Nigeria's 1st information minister, but independent Nigeria. But Nigeria's 1st ever information minister happened to be Chief Kolawole Balogun of blessed memory. No, I didn't. I took an opposite route from my father. My father went into politics immediately after he finished his education, and then he now ventured into law a little bit later. I decided to look at things differently. I thought that after academics I should practice law a bit, and that's what I've been doing. But at some point, I think that was in about 2011, I was called upon to serve in the Osun State government as a commissioner, and I took up that opportunity, and I enjoyed myself. Well, I am in the sense that I'm 65 years old now, and I think it's fair to say that we belong to, well, I won't say the first set, but one of those who benefited from Nigerian education. I schooled here. I went to secondary school in the West. I went to the University of Ife, went to the Nigerian Law School. I think it's fair to say that all the schools at that time were of high quality, produced top quality students who went on to make names for themselves, not just here in Nigeria, but also abroad. I think we still do that now, even though the standard of education has dropped. The sad thing about it is that Nigeria could have been a lot better in terms of the potential, because Nigeria does have a lot of potential. We do have very brilliant young men and women, you know, and I just think that if we had invested more in education, that we could have, the sky would have been the limit, actually. Well, my take on this is that it's the system of law itself. As a young lawyer, I experienced a few challenges myself, and I think one of the obvious challenges is the appeal structure. It's too easy to appeal against judgments. At the same time, when you file actions in court, there are no penalties for costs. In other words, I can file a frivolous action. I could insult you, as an example, and then you could sue me. And I say to myself, well, I'm going to eke it out. I'm going to take it. You're going to have to take me all the way to the Supreme Court. That doesn't make sense. That's not fair. On the other hand, I could also file a frivolous application against you. And then filing a frivolous application, I could call you something you are not. I could defame you. And in so doing, you expect at least that once you prove your case, that I will be made to pay the penalties for filing frivolous applications. But that doesn't happen. And then, of course, the conditions of the judges. I mean, the judges are still writing longhand. They do trials, they sit there, they listen to witnesses, give evidence, and they have to write all these things down longhand. So there's so many challenges that has hampered the progress of law. And there hasn't been enough investment, I must say. Well, I agree with that, and I'm going to give an example as to how that I think we could possibly do that. Now, the Supreme Court hears everything. It's the final court in Nigeria, so they're going to hear issues related to criminal law, civil matters, constitutional matters, as you know, all these matters that's got to do with elections, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, when we have an election cycle, the legal system slows down because the judges are hampered. They're too busy listening to the various appeals from the various states and the federal government to do with the elections. So as a consequence, the other matters to deal with shipping, banking, criminal law are put on the back burner. I think we need what you call a constitutional court, whereby which the judges in the Supreme Court are divided. So you have those judges whose responsibility it is entirely to deal with constitutional matters, and then you have another set whose duty will be to deal with shipping, banking, civil matters, criminal matters, and so on and so forth. So I believe it's high time Nigeria has a constitutional court to try and aid the Supreme Court with the workload they have, which is, quite frankly, quite a bit. Well, Nigerians, with respect, are very brilliant, very intelligent, and they are very aware. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a tailor, you're a driver, you're a lawyer, engineer, they are quite well informed. And the truth of the matter really is that this is the longest republic we've had. This republic started in 1999, and this is 2025, so 26 years. Nigeria's never had a republic this long. But the main flaw is the one you just mentioned. The fact that that constitution that was bequeathed to us by the military in 1999 was never really approved by the people. Now, that doesn't make sense, and that's unfair, in fairness. We ought to be able to look at the constitution, improve upon it, and put our own input into it. Now, there's a way around that, and I've always believed, many people oppose this, but I'm of the view that what Nigerians need to have is a referendum. Have a referendum to ask the Nigerian people whether they want to persist with the 1999 constitution, or do they want to drop a new one? If the answer to that question is yes, we want to drop a new constitution, then that puts paid to the 1999 constitution, and then you can now have a system, a constituent assembly, whatever the case may be, where people will sit around the table and fashion out a new constitution. If the people say no, that means they've indirectly approved the 1999 constitution, and then we continue with it. But what we can't do is continue having this debate, these arguments as to whether the 1999 constitution has been approved by Nigerians or not, because it has not been. So I think the way around that is to ask the Nigerian people through a referendum, asking them whether they want to persist with this constitution. If they say no, then we have a new one. If they say yes, we continue with the old one. And that ends the debate. Every system has its merits. Every system has its advantages and disadvantages. To some extent, the presidential system of government has an advantage. It has the advantage in the sense that it has brought government nearer to the people. So the people of Osun, from where I'm from, for instance, now, have their own state. Same thing can be said, it's been replicated across the country. However, the drawbacks, the disadvantage is the fact that it's extremely expensive. Now, look at Nigeria, for instance, now. We have 36 state governments. So that means we have 36 governments in Nigeria. If you add the government of Abuja, if you add the federal government, that's 38. Now, each one of these governments have some form of legislature, judiciary, an executive as well, local government, civil service. It's too expensive. Look, in America, where we borrowed this system from, the states came together to form a union. This is totally different. We are doing it the opposite way. So we've had a structure that we're now going back. So at the end of the day, many of the state governments are still dependent on the federal government. And as a consequence, the kind of progress we ought to be making, we're not quite making it. So I personally, and this is a personal view because others would disagree, I would prefer that we reduce the size of government by having some kind of regional structure. And I believe that that will reduce the burden of governments. And if we can reduce the burdens of government, we can use this money to do many other things. And I also think it will also improve standards as well. Not just standards of government or parliamentary standards or whatever the case may be, but there'll be less people involved in the political system. And that would help us a great deal. Well, I think it's fair to say that since 1999, we haven't had any new state creation. I know there's been agitation for the creation of states, but there hasn't been any. The process for creating a state is quite cumbersome. It's not easy. I think it's in Section 8 and 9 of the Constitution. I don't think it's something we should be looking at. I think, like I said to you earlier, I think we should be trying to reduce the number of states, and I think some kind of regional structure whereby which we can monitor better what's going on rather than having more states. So I personally would not encourage the creation of more states, no. In the 1950s, we had 3 regions, if I'm correct. Those regions were the West, the East, and the North. We had the colony of Lagos, but if I'm right, I think it was the MacPherson Constitution, I think it is, I'm not too sure, that now put Lagos under the Western region. Now, when Lagos was placed under the Western region, lots of people were not happy about that. I remember my father was in the NCNC. The NCNC people were not particularly pleased, neither were the NPC. So they felt that Lagos belonged to everybody. Like you said, lots of people from different walks of life, different tribes, different backgrounds, and all schooled. I mean, Zik schooled in Lagos. He went to MBHS. So the issue was sent to London to arbitrate. I think it was Oliver Littleton that arbitrated over the matter. And it was decided that Lagos should stand on its own. that Lagos should not be merged with any of the regions. And that was how Lagos was able to free itself from the shackles of the Western region. It's fair to say that the position of the NCNC was actually argued in London by my father. That's why I'm quite familiar with this. But talking about Lagos, when the military, after that, we had what you called a minister for Lagos. I think there was Ribadu, and I think there was one other person, but I think it was Yaradua, not the same Yaradua, but his father. And then later after that, when the military struck, they created the state of Lagos. So the issue of giving Lagos special status has more or less been taken over by events. Lagos is a state, and as a state, it's still home to different people with different backgrounds, from different tribes, and it's thriving. I think it's fair to say that Lagos is probably the most prosperous state in the country. And it's just a question of its continuing with good governance and improving the strides they have made. Once again, let's go back to the past. We had what we used to call the House of Chiefs, wasn't it? And in those House of Chiefs, many of the members of the House of Chiefs were people, were traditional rulers, chiefs from different backgrounds, and they had a say in the running of the affairs of state. It's like it was more or less akin to the House of Lords. So it wasn't necessarily the chamber whereby which the activities of day-to-day governance took place, but they could always refer issues to them. And I think that if we change our structure of governance, and if, that's a big if, then yes, we can have something like that. We can have a second chamber, which is more or less advisory in nature, similar to the House of Lords, whereby which we will have obas and chiefs and people of influence who will be able to advise government from day to day from the experiences and the way forward, but not necessarily binding. I think that's important. That decisions won't necessarily be binding on us, but at least they'll be able to share their views and experiences with the people. Well, that's a big issue. I was commissioner for youth in Oshun about 10 years ago under Rauf Aregbesola, and it was an issue we took quite seriously. In Oshun State, we had quite a number of youths who were unemployed, and the governor thought, what can I possibly do to give them something to do, to keep them employed? So he created what we call the Osun State Youth Empowerment Scheme. Now, under the State Youth Empowerment Scheme, unemployed youths were given particular tasks in the state. Help us sweep the roads. Some were part-time lecturers. Some were doing all sorts of things. They were given a stipend. It wasn't a full-blown salary. Or the salary, although the stipend was enough to keep them to be able to buy things, to be able to buy themselves drinks and food, and kept them occupied until they could find themselves a job. And I think the federal government could follow that kind of scheme, set up a youth empowerment scheme whereby which unemployed youths are given things to do. There's so many things that need to be done in Nigeria. There's so many gaps whereby which the youths can help do that. In the interim, while they find themselves something more gainful or something more permanent. So it's for government to do. It's for government to think of a way of helping out the youths. And of course, there should be partnerships, a partnership between the government and private enterprise to try and encourage them to take on more of our youths, and not necessarily those who have schooled abroad, who they think are probably the best in terms of employment. No, we have many here who can do a good job as well. sustaining democracy is about discipline. It's about the people being disciplined. It's about those who rule us being disciplined. I started out by telling you that this is the longest government we've had. It's the longest republic we've had. We've had democracy now since 1999, 26 years. If you go back to the days of independence, there's been no republic that has been this long. So it shows that the people have embraced democracy. They've come to it's part of us now. They've come to enjoy it. Yes, there are hiccups in terms of the fact that we could do a lot better in terms of how we implement things. But in terms of the people yearning for democracy and imbibing it, I think we've done very well. And what we just need to do is just to try and perfect it. One of the ways, like I said much earlier, is to perhaps take a second look at the Constitution, see where areas where we can improve, and try and make people happy, and at the same time reduce the cost of governance. But I don't think democracy is going anywhere. I think it's here to stay.
Imagine a world without the roar of a lion, the flight of an eagle, or the rhythmic dance of ocean waves teeming with life. Wildlife is more than just the animals, their natural habitat. It is the lifeblood of our ecosystems, shaping the environment and maintaining nature's delicate balance. Yet, with each passing year, human activities threaten this balance. Deforestation, habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change are pushing many species to the brink of extinction. That is why World Wildlife Day is marked on every March 3rd, a global call to action to protect and preserve the rich biodiversity that sustains life on Earth. It is a reminder that wildlife is not just about the animals, it is about us, our survival, our food, our medicine, our future. Wildlife Conservation Finance, investing in people and planet, shines on a spotlight the urgent need for sustainable funding to protect ecosystems. It highlights the role of financial investment in safeguarding both wildlife and human livelihoods, because when we invest in nature, we invest in ourselves. From individuals to policymakers, businesses to conservationists, every tree saved, every habitat protected, and every species conserved is a step towards securing a healthier planet for future generations. As humans, let's act before it's too late. The fate of wildlife is in our hands, and in saving them, we just might be saving ourselves. Chike Okolo, Souq News Television.
Well, I would say now he's gotten the job. If this question had come before now, I would be able to say that I do not think we need him. But he's there now, so all we need to do is see what best he can do or what best we can do to support him to succeed. Now, going by his previous records, going by all that he's achieved in sports, ordinarily one wouldn't have said he's the best for the Super Eagles at this time. but here we are. Decision makers have made their decisions. They've taken the decisions. We can only talk, but they already have their way. Well, I think his assessment will start when he starts playing games. He's not had any game with Nigeria, so we can't assess him. But going by his previous records, I don't think he would have been the best for Nigeria at this time. Not against other homegrown indigenous coaches who have had better records within and outside Nigeria. On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't think Shele will fit in at any point. But of course, having him been appointed, all we need to do is give support and see the best that we can get from him being Nigerians. And of course, at all times, irrespective of whatever decisions are taken, we want Nigeria to excel. Because in Nigeria's excellence, we are proud. In Nigeria's excellence, those of us that are in the media and sporting media, to be precise, we can do business. If Nigeria is not winning, the biggest brand for Nigeria is the Super Eagles, sports-wise. So if Nigeria is not winning, if Nigeria is not making waves, then we don't have business to do. So it's in our interest that he succeeds. So to that extent, I would say yes. But looking at his appointment, I think it's just a part of the over-politicization of the sporting industry. Power show by the immediate past president of the Football Federation, Melvin Pinnick Amaju. Having failed in his 2 terms, continues to transverse the terrain to show he still has power. And of course, he brought Shele. And of course, the Gusau, the incumbent president of the Football Federation, has to listen to his master. So his master's voice, that's what we're experiencing. If they like, let them bring the Hirusadi. You see, there are things about Nigeria and Nigerian sports that should not surprise anybody. Politics are played everywhere, and balancing of acts are played everywhere. Federal character everywhere. And the federal character thing is just all very pretentious things they do. Yeah, it's definitely not for the interest of Nigeria. Just to show that, okay, we've taken somebody from the south, or we've taken one from the west, or we are now taking from the north. Who will we take in the north? Let's bring Ahmed Musa. He's calm. He'll be able to talk to the players. What is he going to say to the players? He's past his prime a long time ago. So it's all politics and not in the interest of the nation. I can tell you that. But for Chele going around Europe, yes, he has to. Because everywhere you go, to be the chief coach of the Nigerian national team, senior national team, can be a huge task. Because every day you have Nigerian boys showing up in big leagues, in small clubs, in championship clubs, even around the country. You find players everywhere. Nigeria, I think today, if we are not exporting oil, I think we are exporting footballers to everywhere, even those that are born abroad. I mean, you can imagine this young boy at Arsenal, 17, Ethnan Nwaneri, and there's an Okoli, there's Ndidi, both at Leicester City. So everywhere you go, you see Nigerian boys showing stuff. So to be the coach of a Nigerian team at the level of Super Eagles is a huge task. One would expect that we should have a scouting department. One would expect that we have a department that should take charge of team psychology. We expect that we have the technical department or the directorate for technical at the Football Federation to be well equipped with people that are sound in mind, sound technically, and have capacity to work and deliver. With all of that put together, then they should be able to advise and situate the coach at the point where he can deliver and work well. Well, you see, I said yes, because I've been one of those that have always been clamoring that there's need to have a National Sports Commission. Now, having a National Sports Commission that is populated or that is headed by politicians, it's neither here nor there. It may not take us anywhere. We need to separate our sport. Yes, sports, you cannot do away with politics at some level. But in terms of the administration, in terms of the management, in terms of the execution, there's need to be able to separate sports and politics. In the days where we held sway, in sports, where the National Sports Commission functioned effectively, all of those that occupied the position as Director General, as directors in the then National Sports Commission, were professionals. If you recall from the days of Abraham Odia, Awotro Eleya, and of course Isaac Akioye, that laid the structure and foundation for a proper National Sports Commission just after the All Africa Games, was a thoroughbred professional from the University of Ife. And there are other such professionals all about this country. And you need to ask, if we are not able to seek and give these people jobs and give them tasks to deliver, we always will go look for political loyalists to put in positions so that they answer to us. Politics is just, to me these days, it's more like a window of a window for public relations for political parties and individuals that are into politics to express themselves, or maybe also at the same time also reward loyalists. That's what we find. So in terms of the technicalities on administration and management of sports, in its true sense, we're still very far from it. Plenty improvement, I would say. The current managers of the league are doing everything they can to ensure that our league gets back to a competitive level at the continent, gets back to a competitive level at the rate at which we, those of us local people like myself, can appreciate our football and our footballers once again. The question to ask is to say, are we doing enough? The answer will be no. Who are those not doing enough? The media, the sporting media in Nigeria is not doing well enough. Would I say sporting media? Yes. And also the bigger media is not doing well enough. And because we are not doing well enough, that's why our league is still where it is. We would have gone further than this. The other aspect of it is government. Government across the states. Football business is supposed to be good business. Football business is supposed to be run by private individuals and clubs. There's nothing wrong to say that the people of a particular state cannot run a football club in conjunction with other private individuals who will be stakeholders and are interested in the promotion of sport and football in the sense that we're talking about it now. But what we have is that we have state governments owning football teams, and those that are administering the football teams are SA this, SA that have been appointed as a reward, that have been appointed because they are loyal, they have been appointed because they can speak, talk a little bit about foreign leagues. Somebody can talk about the league, talk about the La Liga and the EPL, and that qualifies him to be SA in charge of sports in some states of the federation. And these are the bunch of persons, or the group of persons, who are running our football around the country. So who runs the clubs, the texture of the clubs, what names the clubs are bearing, what history behind the clubs, and those are the things that tells you that the states are not doing enough, the Football Federation not doing enough, but I think largely the media, check out our sports programs. All you find are talking heads talking about who scored the best goal in the world, who scored the best goal in Europe, who scored the best goal in England, and all that. That's what we find. You hardly will see shows, package shows about the best goals of the Nigerian League over the past weekend. The best goals, the best dribbles, how many passes, proper statistics, because the media is not doing enough. The sporting media, that is journalists, that are practitioners, they are not doing enough because they are not tasking themselves. They just go on the internet, download one or two things, watch and everything. All you know is you take, as a content creator in sports, you need to just take a shot of the goal that, the assist that Nwaneri gave, or Merino scored a goal for Arsenal, and you superimpose yourself and you talk over it. And that's content. And you post it, and there are likes and there are followers, and that's it, what we do. But you do not have individuals going to places to take content. All around Lagos, that's we look at as we are now, all around Nigeria, sports is going on every day. As a practitioner myself, in those days when I used to be the street reporter, we covered football from everywhere. from Abeson, from Bagada, from Volkswagen, down on Ojo, Abeta, anywhere. All of those places, and boys are still playing football. You go to Evans Square, boys are still playing football. Go to Lafayette, they're still playing football. Go to Alakoro, you still see boxing. So all of these sports are still going on. But where are the journalists that will cover these events and bring them to the fore and package them? The journalists are not ready to do that job. Even those that are ready are not funded. Even those that work are not paid salaries. So everybody is just finding the easy way out, cutting corners and doing their best. Now for our league and our sports to grow, there has to be heavy investment in the media. Because everything you see about the EPL, the La Liga, you take the EPL and analyze it, you see a variety of shows all about the weekend games, the weekend wrap, the best goals, the best flops, the referee angle, even the advertising and marketing. Because when all of this are put in a fray, then people can relate to it. People can leverage on it. Brands can come and give sponsorship. But we are not able to attract sponsorship because there's nothing for the brands to take away. Because if you give brands value, they will attach to it. And it never used to be so. Before 2006, the La Liga was not popular. The EPL was not popular. The Champions League was not popular. What were Nigerians watching? Because the media itself sold out. By investing, Nigerian media organizations came together, put money together, and went to buy rights of the EPL and started broadcasting it on Nigerian television for the consumption of Nigerians so they can make cheap money from telcos and from the brewing industry. They made more money for themselves. I mean, the media houses, rather than invest in the local league. Then they will tell them, who will watch Nigerian league? I mean, those are the questions they asked at the time. Some of us that were able to find courage. We found courage and we asked them, why would we be doing this? But of course, we were not many enough for our voices to be heard. And that's why we're here. We are where we are. So it's not far when we lost it. Can we redeem ourselves? Yes, we can. If we want to. But it will take a whole lot of courage. It will take a whole lot of work. It will take a whole lot of commitment. God help us.
Plastic waste is a mounting crisis, but it also presents an opportunity for business and government to lead the vanguard for systemic change. While regulations, corporate initiatives, and citizens' engagement have made progress, much more is needed in how businesses shape consumer behavior, how governments enforce environmental policies beyond rhetoric, and how public perception is managed through strategic communication. For decades, Nigeria's reliance on single-use plastic sachets, bags, and food packaging has grown, driven by affordability and convenience. However, this has come with a cost. The country generates an estimated 2.5 million tons of plastic wastes annually, with only about 12% recycled. In urban centers like Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, waste is a leading contributor to clogged drainage systems, flooding, and environmental degradation. In this special report, Bayo Olaoye examines the challenges facing efforts to tackle the menace of plastic wastes in the country. Despite past government efforts to curb indiscriminate plastic use, such as Lagos environmental sanitation laws under former Governor Babatunde Fashola, enforcements have been inconsistent. The challenge now is moving beyond periodic government crackdowns and isolated corporate initiatives to a coordinated long-term shift towards a responsible plastic use, recycling, and waste management. Leading Nigerian manufacturing companies are taking active steps to integrate recycling and responsible disposal into their operations. Key initiatives include investing in recycling hubs, with Coca-Cola of Nigeria, Nestle, and Guinness setting up plastic recovery and recycling hubs, creating an ecosystem where post-consumer waste is collected, processed, and refused. Retailers and distributors are being encouraged and in some cases incentivized to set up collection points where consumers can return used packaging for responsible disposal. There is also brand-driven consumer education. Organizations have introduced citizen advocacy campaigns to influence individual waste disposal behavior. This kind of messaging, when amplified by large brands, can have a ripple effect in shifting cultural habits. Beyond environmental responsibility, investing in circular economy models enhances long-term profitability, strengthens brand equity, and aligns with global environmental, social, and governance standards. To effectively shape consumer behavior and stakeholders' engagement, businesses must leverage communication strategies that go beyond compliance reports. Employees should be active participants in sustainability efforts. Companies can integrate sustainability training, incentivize waste reduction, and implement office-wide plastic reduction policies, engaging suppliers, investors, and partners in sustainability commitments such as reducing excessive packaging or co-investing in recycling solutions to create an ecosystem-wide impact. Mass communication campaigns, social influencers, partnerships, and media collaborations can help educate consumers on practical steps for responsible plastic use and disposal. While Nigeria has engaged in international climate and sustainability conversations, the government must go beyond policy declarations and foreign aid incentives. The priority should be local, long-term economic, and health benefit. Rather than reactivate bans that are often poorly enforced, the government can provide tax incentives for businesses, investing in recycling infrastructure while enforcing stricter regulations on reduction and disposal, expanding waste management facilities, establishing more government-led recycling centers, and integrating waste picker into a formalized economy can improve efficiency and create jobs. The administration of Governor Babatunde Fashola demonstrated that when the government takes waste disposal seriously with clear penalties for violations, citizens pay attention. The government must invest and consistently engage public education on the economic and health impact of plastic waste. A cleaner environment leads to a lower public health costs, fewer disease outbreaks, and increased workers' productivity due to better air quality and more usable public spaces. The Nigerian plastic waste problem is not just an environmental issue. It is an economic and reputational challenge for businesses and a government issue for policymakers. By adopting strategic communications, businesses can shift consumer behavior, governments can enhance enforcement, and citizens can embrace a cleaner and more sustainable future.
Okay, thank you so much. I think the bill is a good one for Nigeria. And I think that the bill will be a catalyst for business to thrive in Nigeria. So my position and my perspective to the bill would be that it will be a very positive one for Nigeria going forward. If eventually the bill scales through the legislative processes and it have actually eventually become a law. So that would be my position. Thank you. Yeah, the bill will help business in different areas. Let me mention, for instance, the payee is part of cost for a business. It's part of staff cost. And for especially small businesses, which are the major backbone of the economy, the bill is proposing a reduction, that is proposing tax exemption for some category of lower staff cadre, which in essence is a cost reduction for businesses. So by that, it will help the business to thrive. Also, many people will come, by virtue of that, employ more people, which will bring a robust activity for the economy. And at the same time, there's some category of people that their tax will also be reduced compared to what is currently in operation. So it is a positive atmosphere for business. And when you look at it from the perspective of VAT too, you also see that there's going to be zero tax on some product. There's also going to be a tax exempt on some products, especially for masses, people, low income earner. So some certain products, there's going to be exemption. There's some certain product that's going to be zero tax related. So by that, it will bring a more robust business activity. So by it, and then it will have positive effect on business and economy in general. Yeah, the argument is important. It's very, very important. But when you look at it, fix and fix, the small business, it will encourage more small business. And also, even the 50 million turnover is not a small thing for business, though it is still small relatively to the economic activity. Then, but it is a plus, right? And again, for business that their activity are more than 50 million, then it's good that they should pay tax and contribute little as company income tax to back to the economy. Now, if their taxes are used judiciously, then it will bring more infrastructure to the economy. Then there will be development in the country. Then we'll also be able to look at the advanced country. We envy them, we look at them that they are infrastructures in places, then these things are not cheap. They are not cheap. So, but the main focus for now is that is in a positive trend. It's a positive trend. I encourage that the bill should be passed and the implementation then should be followed so that it will bring a positive effect to the economic generally and the business will thrive going forward. Well, I don't see disadvantage, but I see challenge. Okay. Yeah, one of the things is that naturally, human beings were adverse to change. So if something is bringing a change, especially when you want to take us out of a comfort zone, we may not want to willingly agree with it. But for me, I think the positive and the benefits outweigh whatever probably challenge or the disadvantage we may envisage. So I still strongly believe that the bill is in the right direction for us. Oh, okay. I think from the angle of the value added tax, what I would like to say in that area is that it will help the lower income earners because, like I mentioned earlier, that there's some products that's going to be zero rated, which means that there is not going to be tax VAT on them. There are some that are totally tax VAT exempted. So, which means that, and this product they are products that commonly they are very everybody really, but more of a masses low-income earner will not with the VAT that will have been paid on it will have been an impact on them. Then it's taking off. So I think from that perspective is also a good and a welcome one. And it compared to what was proposed before, a general increase in the VAT rate across board. So this one is narrow it down to a particular area. So wherein it also exempt or puts zero rated on some product that are commonly used by the masses. So it's a positive direction. It's a good one. Yeah, okay. One, from the tax perspective, one of the very good things about this bill is that it allows that you claim input fats. VAT is what you sell, what you buy. So the net effect of is what you remit. Then this bill also helps to claim some expenses which currently is not in operation. So it's a positive one. Then again, you mentioned the increase in the VAT going forward. Well, let's appreciate that the increase is going to be gradual. That's one. Then two, let's also remember that the VAT, some of these products, they are not going to be with VAT again. That with common people like me and you, transport, there's not going to be VAT on it. Rent, no VAT on it. Food item, no VAT on it any longer. And many more. Health, no VAT on it any longer. So you can see that the VAT is going to be increased gradually, but it's not across board. So those basic that we know is every day is already been taken care of. So I think it should give it to the people that work on this bill. Okay, thank you so much for that angle and the question. I want to say that Federal Inland Revenue Services, they are really trying. And I can tell you, there's no system that doesn't have its own challenge. But FRS, they are trying. And they are moving from those days of Alanok. Now we have tax promise. You can do your filing right from the comfort of your office. You don't need to visit their office, except there is a challenge. Right? So, they are doing well, but they are not yet at the best. So, and there is room for improvement. They are already deploying technology. So, what they need to do is to scale up and up to the task. But currently, they are doing well. So, they just need to improve. Well, it depends on the perspective you look at it. Is it shrinking? Yes, we have some companies that are no more within the soul of the Nigerian. So in that case, their taxes is no more coming to us. But again, look at other businesses that are springing forth. So definitely those are coming to the tax net. And then again, there are some companies that are not businesses that are not in tax net. So through the use of technologies by FRS, they're already bringing them to tax net. So the tax net is increasing. So the net effect of it, you can say, is increasing. Though we have some that are leaving the soul of Nigeria. So net effect of it, the tax net is increasing. Because we have people businesses that are coming to Nigeria, and we have people that are businesses that are already in Nigeria, but they are not in tax net, but they are already bringing them to tax net. So it's like they are looking at perspective of increasing the threshold from 25 million to 50 million, as the case may be. Yeah, so are they saying that the government should also still be taxing 25 million threshold? So we should applaud the bill that give opportunity for businesses that their threshold is less than 50 million, as the case may be. So, but from that angle, if you are looking at it that the business is shrinking, I don't see from that angle. I see from the angle of if the business is doing well and you are not to pay tax, rent, then your business is becoming robust, then you exceed the 50 million threshold. Then you also come back to the tax to be paid. So it's a way of giving boost to the business. And by the time the business is doing well beyond that threshold, then they'll be able to give back to the society. So it's a win-win situation. It's like giving a kind of relief to a business for them to thrive. And when they become better, doing well, then it's an encouragement to business, which they will also come to the net after that. So it's a good one. The chairman of the
chairman,
Souq.
Yes. How would you assess his performance so far?
Yeah, I think Mr. Sakios is a reformer. Yes. Looking at the step he has taken after assuming the office, and I also see that he's somebody that is listening. He has a close relationship with the former chairman of FRS. Probably he has learned some of things from him, challenges that he faced when he was there. So I think he's helping the current chairman. And if you look at the revenue they are getting, they are meeting up with the target. And at the same time, if you look at the staff, I don't see much of issues, challenges within them. So those are the indices that you can look at from the performance of a leader. Look at the staff that is leading. Look at the target, the businesses also, are they fairly? So I think he's doing well, but he can do better.
sípò tí a lè gbà. Wọ́n nítorí ìdí èyí, wọ́n ní àsìkò wa rèé, wọ́n ní à ń sọ. Wọ́n ní kí a máa tẹnu mọ́. Wọ́n nítorí tí a bá ṣe èyí, wọ́n á gbọ́ wáyé. A ti ẹ̀dúpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Èkó. Ẹ bá mi pàtẹ́wọ́ fún gómìnà wa. Wọ́n ò fọ̀rọ̀ obìnrin ṣeré rárá o. Ṣé wọ́n yé wa dáadáa? Táwa náà bá wò wọ́n ṣe ń yan èèyàn sípò. Àwọn obìnrin gan àgbẹ̀yìn rárá. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa dẹ̀ jọ wọ́n lógún dáadáa. Wọ́n fẹ́ràn wa. Wọ́n ò fọ̀rọ̀ obìnrin ṣeré. Àwọn náà mọ̀ wípé obìnrin èèyàn ńlá ni wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. Nítorí ìdí èyí, òun ni wọ́n ń tọ́jú wa ní gbogbo ìgbà lójoojúmọ́. Ọlọ́pàá òjọ̀pọ̀ ètò tí iléeṣẹ́ tó ń rí sí ọ̀rọ̀ obìnrin àti ìgbógun ti ìṣẹ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, òun ni wọ́n ti ṣe. Kò ń ṣe iléeṣẹ́ yìí nìkan o, wọ́n ṣe káàkiri ni. Nítorí náà, ẹ jẹ́ ká pàtẹ́wọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i fún ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Ní Èkó tí wá yàtọ̀ o, wọ́n ń tọ́jú wa, wọ́n ń ṣètọ́jú wa lójoojúmọ́. Kò sí ọdún kan tí iléeṣẹ́ WAPA tí wọ́n pín ohun èlò fáwọn tí wọ́n kọ́ níṣẹ́. Kò ń ṣe wípé wọ́n kọ́ wa níṣẹ́ máa lọ láì gba ohun èlò iṣẹ́. Àwa náà ti jàǹfààní àpọ̀lọ́jà àtìrẹ́rẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa, ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn obìnrin, ibi náà ń fẹ́ kó dé, á tún débẹ̀, á kọjá bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ògbọ́n náà. Àtẹwọ́ tó gbogbo fún ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Gbogbo èyí tẹ́ wá láti ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ògùn àti ìjọba ìdàgbàsókè 37 tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. A kí gbogbo ilé ẹ̀kan sí o. A ti dárúkọ wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká pàtẹ́wọ́ pé Olúwa ó ṣe o tún kà mí yẹ lọ́dún yìí. Inú ààwẹ̀ àwọn onígbàgbọ́ la wà.
Mrs. Oluremi Amzat, the past and present members of the Executive Council here present, chairmen and members of statutory commissions here present, members of the body of permanent secretaries here present, especially the permanent secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Oluyemi Kalesoro, chairmen of local governments and local council development areas here present, heads of government agencies and parastatals here present, the Yellow Day of Lagos, our very dear mother, Alaja Bintu Tinubu, thank you very much for attending. The SSA to the Governor of Grassroots and Women Affairs, Mr. Kehinde Bakari. The guest speaker of today's event, Professor A. Olurotimi Koka and Mrs. Titilayo Oshodi. Our women of inestimable value of this year's 2025 International Women's Day celebration. Our women, are you here? Akeke, are you here? Akado Okeodo, Ako Iketu, Ajirabi Ifelodu, Alimasha, Apapa Agamu, Amuwa Dabi. I greet all the local governments here. I will not be able to mention all. I celebrate you all today. Okay, Ayobo, Badagry, Badagry West, Barika, Koga Akuda, Ejikbo, Ejikbo Idimu, Epe, Eredo, Etiosa East, Iba, Ibejuleki, Ibakodaye, Ifelodu, Ikodo Ikotu, Igbobobayeku, Ijade, Ikeja, Ikorodu, Ikorodu North, Ikorodu West, Ikosi Ejiri, Ikoyabelende, Ikota, Irubia, Isola, Itire, Oshofe, Lagos Island, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island East, Lekki, Moso Kuala, Mushi, Odiolowo, Ojo, Ojodu, Ojokoro, Olorunda, Odipompo, Oriade, Orile Agege, Oshodi Salo, Otawori, Shomolu, Surulere, Yaba. I acknowledge you all. Iyaloja General of Nigeria, Committee of Wives of Lagos State Officials, vulnerable. As a government, we have been unwavering in our commitment to supporting women through empowerment programs, training initiatives, and advocacy. We have created platforms that equip women with the skills and resources they need to be financially independent and self-sufficient. Our various skills acquisition programs and business development initiatives continue to transform the lives of countless women, ensuring that they are active participants in economic growth. Through scholarships, mentorship programs, and capacity building workshops, we are strengthening women's ability to thrive in all sectors. The challenges women face, whether at home or in the workplace or in society, can take a significant role on their mental and emotional well-being. Today, we have invited an expert to speak to us on our mental health conditions. As a ministry, we are actively working to provide safe spaces, counseling services, mental health support programs to ensure that women have the resources they need to live healthy and fulfilling lives. Women must not only have a seat at the table, but must also be active participants in shaping policies and decisions that affect their lives. We need more women in governance, business leadership, and community development roles. Tí ọ̀rọ̀ kan bá ti wà tó ń gbé wa nú, tó ń kọ wá lóminú, tí ò jẹ́ ká ní fọkànbalẹ̀, àwọn pòfẹ́sọ̀ wa máa wá bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìyẹn o. Lẹ́yìn ìgbẹ́jọ́ wa pọ̀ lórí International Women's Day, tíìmù wa ni pé ká accelerate action, ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìgbésẹ̀ ńlá láti rí pé gbogbo nǹkan bíi gender-based violence, bíi sexual violence, bíi financial inclusion, ká gbé ìgbésẹ̀ ńlá láti tẹ̀síwájú lórí ẹ̀. Mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo wa dìde ká ṣọwọ́ wa báyìí pé alágbára láti ṣe. It is time for us to all rise up and make that sign to accelerate action to break barriers of sexual and gender-based violence, barriers that impede us from being heard, the barrier that will not allow us to sit on leadership positions. Everybody should stand up. Every person should stand up. Ẹlẹ́bìnrin ẹ dìde. Ṣé ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni? Ẹlẹ́bìnrin ẹ dìde. Alágbára láti tẹ̀síwájú. Bí o bá ní ọ, alágbára láti tẹ̀síwájú, láti já obìnrin síwájú, láti gbóbìnrin sípò olórí, alágbára láti gbóbìnrin sípò olórí. Àwọn obìnrin ò ní rẹwà jẹ mọ́. Àwọn obìnrin
Mr. Senator, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, Her Excellency the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Modiane Ebidoke Sanwo-Olu, Her Excellency Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, the wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, and the dignitaries here present, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I am a psychiatrist. In short, that means Dr. Anuola Olonimi. And if you want to accelerate action regarding empowerment, gender equality, fundamental rights of girls and women, addressing poverty, we must be balanced mentally. However, to be balanced mentally, all of us here must also be physically fit. That means we must carry out physical exercises 3 times a week for 1 hour to increase our heartbeats to 100 beats per minute. So we must also enhance our social health, ability to make friendships anywhere you are. Then lastly, ability to enhance your mental health. Science has said that 1 in 5 women will develop mental illnesses such as anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and bipolar disorders. And what are the causes of this problem? Because women have many multiple social roles. They are mothers, they are wives, they are leaders in offices, they are spiritual leaders, and they have to fulfill so many social roles. Maternal depression is on the increase, and women don't know that they are depressed because the signs of depression are like that of malaria when it starts. Other causes of mental disorders, the death of a loved one, your husband, your child, divorce, separation, not being married, and you are married, don't have a child. And sometimes when you have a child and you don't have the support, it will also cause mental disorders. Employment, poverty, rape in women, women that live alone, single mothers, discrimination against them, stigma in the workplace. At home, difficult husband. Your husband don't want to cooperate with you. He doesn't want to hear you. So there's communication breakdown in the house. There's domestic violence. There's what we call also postpartum psychosis. 1 in 7 women that deliver children will have mental disorders. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní àbísínwí in Yorùbá land. Also, when you are getting to 55, 60, women also experience menopause. And menopause can also manifest as symptoms of depression. So when you are having issues, you start to think. As you are thinking, some chemicals are being pumped from your brain to all parts of your body. Dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, and cortisol. And they start to affect your organs, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, and then you start to have symptoms. Initially, they come as symptoms of malaria, hotness of the body, weakness, headache, backache. Then the BP will go up, and we start to have hypertension. Some people develop diabetes. But the most important thing is that when depression sets in, most people do not recognize the signs of depression. Sign of being sad all the time, irritability, short temper, not be able to sleep, loss of weight. And if you don't get to see a psychiatrist, then you start to hear strange voices. You think some people are after your life, then it gets to guilt feelings, worthless feelings, and hopeless feelings, and that's when people attempt to commit suicide. If we don't recognize symptoms of mental illnesses, the consequences are enormous. Domestic accidents, violence in the house, tension in the house between husband and children, verbal abuse, social isolation. I've seen women that said they don't want to go out again, so they have social withdrawal. It can bring about prolonged suffering, separation, unemployment, early death. So if we don't want to have mental problems, I'll teach you just 5 ways. These 5 ways, you don't even need to have money to have them. They are wonderfully selected, and they are very good psychological problems. Number one, if somebody is stressing you anywhere, at work, at home, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law is stressing you and is making you want to have mental disorder, write a letter to that person. Dear sir, dear man, you know you are the most terrible person in this world. I feel like slapping you. So write 5, 10 pages, sign it, but please go and hide that letter when nobody will see it. 3 days later, go back to that letter and be amazed about the venom you poured in that letter. Number 2, abuse the person stressing you. Not to his face, so put a pillow on a chair. Write the name of the person stressing you. Mr. Jones or Mrs. Brown. Then abuse that pillow the way you would love to abuse that person to his front. So when you see that person following day, you will not have racing habits or palpitations. Number 3, between husband and wives. Very effective. When somebody wants to be difficult, either the husband or the wife, just walk away. Walk away, go for a long walk for 30, 40 minutes and come back to the house smiling. Number 4, dress your best every day. When you think you are feeling sad, that is why you need to dress your best to work. Because the comments will lift your mood. You are beautiful today. You are charming. You are pretty. Wow. And those kind of comments will make you to be happy. Number 5, which is when you are feeling low and feeling sad, that is when you need to use this therapy. It's called the dancing therapy. So I'd like the DJ to put Koloba for us. And I'd like everybody in this hall to stand up and dance 3 minutes with the Koloba. Please let us dance. I am a fantastic dancer. And we saw Mr. Selebu dancing on the stage there. If you think you can dance more than Mr. Selebu, please show us your skills. I'm a good dancer too. Everybody get up. Lastly, a very effective stress management technique is the laughter therapy. Laughter therapy, because of Lagos State stress, people have forgotten how to laugh. So we carry out laughter therapy for our patients at the Lagos State University Hospital. And if you don't know how to laugh, you will try to solve your problem. So I want everybody in this stadium to laugh from the bottom of their hearts. Let's go. I'm happy to be here. Wow. So if somebody's annoyed you, fi tún sọ ní Yorùbá pé gbogbo wàhálà tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yìí ó jẹ́ káwọn obìnrin máa ní àrùn ọlọ́pọlọ èyí tá à ń pè ní depression ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn táwọn obìnrin bá dé depression wọn kì í mọ̀ wọn kò rò bóyá èèyàn ló ṣe wọ́n ni báwo dẹ̀ ló ṣe máa bọ̀ depression wọ́n á máa ronú wọ́n á máa kanra wọ́n á máa bẹ́rù bọ́dìjà wọ́n ò ní lè sùn wọ́n á lose appetite fún àbí kó máa jẹun jù ọkọ máa sùn jù tóun bá jẹ́ mọ̀ fáwọn ní gbogbo àwọn kí yìí ó máa jẹ́ kéèyàn ní malaria ni wọ́n á lọ bá dókítà òun dókítà ní malaria lẹ́ni o wọ́n á sọ lóògùn malaria 3 months later the same problem tó bá yá wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa gbóhùn ohun tó ń pọ̀ máa gan ó yá lọ gbé èèyàn létí lọ jump sínú ibì kan bọ́ra ẹ sí ohun náà tó bá tún ní treatment á wá di pé ohun yẹn sọ fún wọn pé kúkú lọ end it up. So, and people don't know that it's because of depression. Wahala ayé stresses of life ló cause it. Unfortunately, ibi tó máa ń gbé àwọn problem yìí lọ ní church àbí mosque. Nítorí pé kò sẹ́ni tó fẹ́ gbé wàhálà ìlọ sí ní àbá house. Wọ́n ní ṣé mo ti wá ya wèrè ni? No, you don't have to go to the hospital. Psychiatric facility ó wà ní Roots, ó wà ní Lasuth, ó wà ní Military Hospital. Over some places. So when you have this problem, collaborate with us. Go to your general hospital, let them give you treatment. Àwọn tó bá lè treat dáadáa, wọ́n á refer àwọn wá sọ́dọ̀ wa ní Lagos State University Hospital àwọn psychiatrist wà. So àwọn ọpọlọ mi pé èèyàn ti ya wèrè o. Bọ̀dé ìbádẹ́ fẹ́ ní mental problem. Àwọn ọkọ márùn-ún yẹn kò ní kẹ́ ṣe o. Write a letter. Abuse, walk away, dress your best, and laugh away your problem. So to round up, 20 ways you can prevent mental illnesses. Number 1, love yourself, adore yourself, cherish yourself as a woman of substance. Don't be envious of other people's achievements. Learn to relax, set goals, sleep for 8 hours, ask for help, share your problems with your nurse, with your social worker, with your pastor, with your imam. Improve your social relationship. Be prepared for sudden change, like how changes in Nigeria. Recognize who are stressing you and deal with them. Learn something new. Take responsibility for what's happening to you. Don't blame anybody. Blame yourself. Dance, laugh away your stress. Do anything that is possible to make you happy. So to conclude, we've been able to talk about mental challenges of women, how to recognize them, how to prevent them, how to collaborate with psychiatrists in Lagos State. And once you do them, we are much more empowered to accelerate action regarding women's rights, regarding empowerment, gender equality, addressing poverty, and financing gender equality. Mr. Governor, sir, the First Lady of Lagos, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much.
Souq, Special Advisor of Climate Change and Circular Economy, accomplished professional who has made a successful transition from a career in marketing and communication to becoming an organizational management executive, social reformer, and youth advocate. We make welcome Mrs. Titilayo Souq. Please put your hands together for her once again.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, women of Lagos and champions of change, it's a privilege to stand before you today as we mark International Women's Day 2025, a day set aside to celebrate the achievements, resilience, and boundless potential of women worldwide. This year's theme, Together We Can Forge Women's Equality, collectively we can all accelerate action. This is a powerful reminder that true progress is not just about acknowledging women's contributions, it is about deliberate action to ensure that women thrive in every sector, every community, and every economy. I'd like to appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Selebu, the he for she governor, Mr. Climate Change, the brand new Mr. Circular Economy Pioneer. Let's give him a round of applause, sis, for his unwavering commitment to empowering women through policies and initiatives that promote inclusivity, sustainability, and economic growth. I'd like to extend sincere gratitude to Her Excellency, the First Lady of Lagos State, our mother, Dr. Mrs. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, the wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, our second mommy, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, for your leadership and dedication to continue to strengthen Lagos' vision for social and economic development. To our Women Exco, in particular our host, my big sis, Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Dada, I commend your tireless work in ensuring that women strive in all that they do through policies and initiatives that promote inclusivity and sustainability. We want to talk about circular economy and climate change. the glory to be able to witness the 2025 International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to every woman seated in the house here present, and to those that are watching us online. All glory, all honor belong to God. We want to thank our mother of the nation, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who is a senior woman and a very strong advocate for women. And by extension, we use this medium to meet our president, the National He for She President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We thank God. Our He for She in Lagos, Mr. Governor Babajide Olushola Aduragbemi Sanwo-Olu, thank you for always being there. And I also know that you do not do it alone. You have our brother, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat. My sister, I greet you and acknowledge you. And for all our distinguished guests in the hall, in the stadium, I greet you. I want to stand on this well-established protocol by the MC and people that have talked before me. The year 2025 International Women's Day. The theme, Accelerate Action. Lédè Yorùbá, yára ṣàṣà fún ìdàgbàsókè àwọn obìnrin. Lédè Hausa, Aikato, Aiki. Lédè Igbo, Ike, Ngwagwa. To show you that all over the world, all over Nigeria, today is a significant day that we remember all our women. Not only celebrating them, but greeting them for their resilience, their dog-headedness, the hard work that they put to ensure that women's voice are recognized. This year's theme, Accelerate Action, is a powerful call to move beyond discussions and take concrete steps towards gender equality, economic empowerment, and social inclusion for women. Women have always been at the forefront of change, yet despite our resilience, progress towards gender parity has been slow. Today, we reaffirm our commitment not only to advocating for women's rights, but also to ensure meaningful and impactful action. In Lagos State, we have remained steadfast in implementing policies and initiatives that uplift and empower women. Through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Education, thousands of women have gained access to economic opportunities, vocational training, and financial support to boost their business, as mentioned by the Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs this morning. Beyond these commendations, the Office of First Lady has also supported these initiatives, extending the empowerment program to the wider public. However, we must recognize that more work remains to be done. Accelerating action means strengthening policies that promote equal opportunities for women in leadership, women in business, women in governance, and expansion in education, healthcare, and financial inclusion to ensure no woman is left behind. It means ending gender-based violence by reinforcing laws, increasing awareness, and ensuring victims receive the necessary support, while also encouraging women to take charge of their future by embracing innovation, digital skills, entrepreneurship in this evolving world. The Lagos State government, under the leadership of your dynamic governor, remains committed to improving the lives of women through empowerment programs, skill acquisition centers, intervention initiatives. We continue to foster an environment where every woman can thrive and contribute meaningfully to the society.
As part of our commitment to eliminating gender-based violence, the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency has intensified efforts to promote, support, and rehabilitate survivors through legal aids, shelter services, and advocacy campaigns. Ẹ̀yin obìnrin, ó ṣe pàtàkì kẹ́ gbọ́ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí à ń sọ yìí. Kẹ́ lè mọ ibi tí òfin ti ṣiṣẹ́ dé lára àwọn iṣẹ́ obìnrin. Kò sí wípé wọ́n fipá lò pẹ̀lú obìnrin mọ́. Kò sí pé ní yunifásitì àwọn ọmọ yẹn obìnrin, àwọn lẹ́kítọ̀rà àwọn máa dà wọ́n láàmú. Òfin ti wà fún gbogbo yẹn. Ẹni tó bá ṣe ẹ̀wọ̀n gbére ló lọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyá ẹ̀yin òbí ẹ̀ bá mọ̀ ẹ ti mọ̀ sí yín o. Wọ́n tún ti dá agency sílẹ̀, wo ni mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn, Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. Ó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Tó bá jẹ́ pé nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀, bóyá ọkọ àti ìyàwó jà àbí wọ́n fipá lò pẹ̀lú obìnrin. DSVA, Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, ó wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Lọ́yà, agbẹjọ́rò, ó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ibi tó máa fi ọmọ yẹn sí àbóbìnrin yẹn sí, ó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn dókítà tó máa tọ́jú arábìnrin yẹn, ó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ má gbàgbé o, domestic violence, àwọn ọkùnrin náà wọ́n máa affect wọn náà. Àárín àwọn obìnrin míì tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n dàbọ̀ ọkùnrin tó máa ń lu ọkùnrin. Àwọn ọkùnrin náà lè mú ẹjọ́ yẹn lọ sí DSVA. Wọ́n lọ fẹjọ́ sùn. Wọ́n má jẹ́ pé òdìkejì ló máa já sí. The Lagos State Child Protection Policy has also been reinforced to safeguard the rights of young girls and boys, ensuring that they grow in safe and supportive environments. Ètò wà fún àwọn ọmọdé náà. Àfẹ́ káwọn ọmọdé wọ́n máa kiri nígbà tó yẹ kó wà ní iléèwé. Àfẹ́ káwọn ọmọdé wọ́n máa ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ kan pa owó púpọ̀ fún àwọn òbí wọn gbà tó yẹ kó kàwé. Àwọn ní ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa, afẹ́kọ́ ṣoríire báwa náà, afẹ́kọ́ ga jù wá lọ. Ní iṣẹ́ ibi tí ìyàwó gómìnà wà, the Office of the First Lady, we have the initiative of the Boy Child, which focuses on young men, mentoring our boys, avoiding the gap between the men and the women, ensuring that the vulnerable boys out there go to school and become responsible men so that they can support the women out there. Also in the Office of the First Lady, we are strong advocates on stop tuberculosis, immunization, especially for all our children from age 0 to age 5. We are very strong on e-birth registration to ensure that all the newborn children are born and registered properly so that they can plan for their future, ensure that we have enough schools, enough teachers that will be provided for these children. Ó ṣe pàtàkì kí ẹ̀bùn pa àwọn iṣẹ́ tá a tún ṣe lórí ṣe àyẹ̀wò lórí ikọ́. Ẹlòmíì lè máa kúkọ́ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín fún ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì, ọ̀sẹ̀ mẹ́ta, ẹni kó lọ sí ilé ìyẹ̀wò. Wọ́n fi sọ pé bóyá ó ní ikọ́ fèrè àbí kò ní. Abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára náà, a máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀ púpọ̀ pé ẹjọ́ ẹ̀yin ìyá, ẹ̀yin girama, ẹ bá sọ fún àwọn ọmọ yín, wọ́n gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára kan gbà pé nígbà tó yẹ kó gbà. E-registration, ayé àtijọ́, ẹ bá ti bímọ, ẹlòmíì pàápàá wọn fẹ́ lọ rẹ́gísítà ọmọ wọn. Nísìnyí, ẹ ṣe bímọ yẹn báyìí, àwọn kan ti wà nínú àwọn hospital ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tó máa ń bí ọmọ wẹ́rẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n máa ti lo fóònù, wọ́n máa ti gba orúkọ òbí àti bàbá àti ìyá. Immediately wọ́n máa ti fún wọn ní NI number, National Insurance Identity Number, so that wọ́n bá ṣe ń dàgbà sí àwọn ìjọba wọn mọ àwọn nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe. At this junction, I wish to sincerely appreciate the key stakeholders who have played significant roles in advancing the cause of women in Lagos State, starting from young governor Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, who Despite being a father and a husband, deemed it necessary to provide visionary leadership and unwavering support for women-focused initiatives, significantly propelling our progress in Lagos State. I also appreciate the Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamza, and his wife, Mrs. Oluremi Hamza, for also supporting the growth and welfare of women in Lagos. We deeply appreciate your contributions. The Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Bolaji Dada. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Mrs. Oluyemi Kalisongo, for your joint, relentless effort in championing women's causes, expanding empowerment programs, and driving impactful policies that have transformed countless lives. Again, we want to remember our mother, the wife of the President, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, on her program Renewed Hope Initiative, which encompasses and ensuring that better families are being recognized. Her pillars based on agriculture, on women empowerment, financial inclusion, social inclusion, very important, and environment. Over the months coming, you will be noticing and be hearing a lot about more on encouraging every woman to plant something in their homes to reduce the poverty level. You will also be hearing a lot about financial support, elder support, and you will also be hearing a lot on environment, ensuring that your environment is clean. When your environment is clean, you have a healthy nation. When you have a healthy nation, that is when you can plan different policies. That is when you can now start striving to attain some leadership positions. Last but not the least, is every woman should encourage every other woman out there. Please don't laugh at a woman that is trying to strive to be better. Please support every woman out there. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Àwọn yẹ́lò mi ni ẹ jàre. Ẹ fún ẹ látẹ̀wọ́. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ẹ jọ ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ké kọ́kọ́. Ẹ sọ fẹ́ tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín. You look beautiful. Ẹ tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yín bọ́ sí ẹgbẹ́ kejì. You look beautiful. Tí o ti ẹ̀ lẹ́wà tó tó yìí. Tí o ti ẹ̀ lẹ́wà tó tó yìí. Èyí má dà sí ti ẹ bọ́. You look outstanding. Tọ́ọ̀bù àti sọ fún ẹ sọ fara ilé ní. Yes, I look outstanding. I look beautiful. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, beauty yẹn náà lè máa gbé lọ lélẹ̀ ní lágbára Ọlọ́run. You're beautiful inside and you're beautiful outside. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ gbogbo yín ni o. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ gbogbo yín. Pé ó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ nínú àwẹ̀. Inú àwẹ̀ ti kiri yó àti ti Mùsùlùmí, Ramadan Kareem àti lẹ́yìn gbogbo alákújájá ká jáde lé ìfẹ́ gbogbo aláṣẹ ṣe gan-an ní ẹ̀ṣẹ́ pé ẹ̀yìn tó fi sùúrù sílẹ̀ àwọn oníkà máa dùn díẹ̀ àìmájó díẹ̀ sí nǹkan tó dáa là ń ṣe àdẹ̀dúgbẹ́ pé kò tí ìṣàkó mẹ́rin àti àkó márùn-ún káwọn òtí ìlú wa ń ṣàkó kan lóyìnbó ayé ìjó díẹ̀ sí àtòmálọ́lé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ti máa rí o. Thank you very, very much. On your behalf, I want to acknowledge once again my own First Lady, your First Lady, the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, aka Ìyàwó Babájídé. Wife of the Deputy Governor, Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat, Mrs. Olúrẹ̀mí Hamzat, herself, thank you. Members of my female and male cabinet that are here, are they not lovely? And she's lovely, and they lovely. Aha, àwọn láàrin cabinet tó ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀yẹ àdúgbò fọlọ́run. Thank you very much. I greet you, each and every one of you, especially Madam Wapa, Eshu, statutory commission members that are here, thank you very much. Permanent secretary, thank you very much. Eshe Bonyu, chairman of our LCDA and our local council areas, thank you very much, Princess, and all of you, thank you very much. Our mothers, Yalodi of Lagos, Alaja Bintu, Tinubu, Eshe Bonyu, thank you very much for taking our time for sitting with us all throughout. Eshe, Mrs. Honorable Mrs. Olajudoyin, Eshe Bonyu, thank you very much. I want to thank all of our council women that are here. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of our guest speakers, Professor and Mrs. Lusu, thank you very much. Our Yaloja General, here able represented, Gbogbo Yaloja, Lotto Atilusi, Atibelo Gubuyu, thank you very much. All of our traditional institutions that are here, thank you very much. Community leaders that are here, thank you very much. Different political groups, female political groups that are here, thank you very much. All of our great women from all of the 57 local government and LCDA, all the way from Agege, all the way to Yaba, all the 57 of you, I greet you, I thank you, Eshe Bonyu, Eku Aduroti Gbogbo Gbagbogbo, Eshe Bonyu, Ayọ̀ Balógun, Otojo Mẹ́ta, Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo lẹ́nu yín o, wáyé jẹjẹ wọlé ní gbogbo fẹ́ẹ̀ dájú sí gómìnà lọ, ọ̀sẹ̀ òkè. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can see that this year 2025 is a year of happiness and joy for each and every one of us. It's a year of blessing for each and every one of us. I want to use this opportunity, like First Lady said, to thank the leader of our government, Mr. President himself, who is number one, he for she. Through him, to also thank our First Lady, who were the beginning of the light of Lagos in 1999. We'll continue to acknowledge them. Thank you very much for your leadership. And to all the other First Ladies and former governors also that have run this place, we are here to celebrate all of you. Thank you for all the work that you have done to take us thus far. And so I want to thank all of you and with immense pride. This year, 2025, International Women's Day, which is globally a significant day. It's not just a day, it's on our calendar, but it's a powerful reminder of the essential role played by our women in shaping our society and driving progress. Our women internationally have come to acknowledge and recognize that we need to celebrate separately, differently. We need to set a day aside to celebrate, to thank you individually and collectively. And this year's theme is Accelerate Action. To accelerate action. It serves as a clarion call to move beyond the rhetoric and for you to take bold and decisive steps towards achieving gender equality and empowering women. The IW Day, celebrated annually, which is on the 8th of March, as it stood over centuries of advocacy for women's rights. This year marks a pivotal moment as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration on the Platform of Action, which was adopted all the way in 1995. You know, we all talk about the Beijing Conference in 1995. It is 30 years now of that conference in 2025, and it continues to wax stronger and stronger. And the theme, Accelerate Action, underscores the urgency of addressing the persistent inequality and the barriers that hinder women from realizing their full potential. For us in Lagos State, we're not just echoing this theme, we're embodying it through deliberate actions and policies to ensure that we empower our women across all sectors, from expanding economic opportunity to ensuring that they have access to quality healthcare and education. Our administration continues to remain an E4C governor, an E4C government, an E4C public sector. We reaffirm our dedication to this and to foster inclusive environment where women are not only seen, but they are heard and they are ensured that at all times they are equally empowered. We have made significant investment in various initiatives that are ensuring that we foster self-sufficiency, leadership, and economic participation through our various programs: Ministry of WAPA, Ministry of Youth, Wealth Creation, Climate Change, Sustainable Development, SSD, all of them in one form or the other, commerce, trade and investment, MSMEs. We are very deliberate and intentional to ensure that we take the cause of women positively in Lagos. Our policies are dedicated to protecting women from all forms of gender-based violence while creating opportunity for them to assume leadership role in governance. And of course, take decision-making position as well. Additionally, we facilitate access to credit for them to enable that all our female entrepreneurs, they can grow in a sustainable manner and their businesses can flourish. I'm expecting one item that I want to show today as a demonstration of our commitment at empowering our women. Progress, they say that it requires a collective action for us to ensure that the gender equality is not just a lip service. Our Teams Plus agenda, the plus in the teams is gender equality, access to our women, and it's something that we deliberately put in our economic policy for everyone to see in Lagos. So we are here once again to celebrate the 2025 International Women's Day. By the grace of God, in another 1 year when we're celebrating one for 2026, you also come around with bigger and better and bolder ideas. I'll see you and I'll see the grace of God and the glory of God and economic development within all of you. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín ni o. Gbọ́ mi báyìí. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín ni o. Ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ̀yin sísá wa, mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín ni o. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ pé ẹ dúró tì wá. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ pé èyí jẹ́ ọjọ́ ẹ̀yin obìnrin àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Èyí jẹ́ ọjọ́ ẹ̀yin obìnrin tẹ́lẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe wége gèlè tó dúró bẹ́ẹ̀bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ̀kú mékọ̀pù yẹn tó dúró dẹ́dẹ́dẹ́ ẹ wá fún fáwọn.
Yes, today we are all women and we are happy to be here. We are happy to rejoice with each other. We are happy to come together in one love and unity from different local governments. And this day brings every woman from all part of Lagos State. It brings us together and we are really happy about it.
Nigerian leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Bayo Olaoye. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways, from sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories. The Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather products is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues related to infrastructure, access to finance, and competition from imported goods. Additionally, there is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisans. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
What keeps the heartbeat of a community alive? Is it the courage to create, the power to connect, the vision to transform? Well, it's all of these and more. It's a symphony of ideas, innovation, and industry. But where do these stories come alive? It's right here on The Isle, 104.9 FM, the station where dreams meet action and growth finds its voice. The Isle, 104.9. Business, economy, development. Stay tuned.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
My yellow